Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I want to give a big hello out to our audience as well as our panelists for today's community webcast. I'm Mark O'Brien. I'm work at CM First Group, and I'm your MC for today's webcast. If you've been on our webcast before, you'll know that we used to start with a poll question. So today's first poll question is going to be, what is your primary reason for attending technical conferences? So we've got 5 different options there. We want to learn new concepts or technologies. Perhaps it's hands-on training, to network with other customers, other attendees, get to know the vendors, or other. And can we see our results? So a vast majority is to learn new concepts or new technologies. It's good reason to say that to your boss about going to technical conference. And then some training and some networking with other customers. Sorry, vendors, you're not feeling any love this morning. As I said, I'm Mark O'Brien, and I'm joined today by Roger Griffith, the president of our user group, and also Summer, who's going to talk. They're going to talk a little bit more about the conference itself, and then will be followed, once we talk through the conference, which is going to be in May, we'll have 2 really cool lightning talks for you. One focused on AppNeta with Cesare, and also JP doing the introduction there as a ANI as a sponsor. And then the second lightning talk will be focused on TUI reporting, and that will be by Kiyoshi Karasawa with an introduction by John Rhodes. So as I said, today's agenda, we're going to go through the planning, and then we've got several more poll questions during the course of today's activities, and then the first lightning talk, the AppNeta lightning talk, and then modernizing TUI reporting, the second talk. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A session for you, and also announce a raffle winner. There's going to be somebody's going to wind up with a $100 credit for to be used against conference expenses. So you know, that's something that we haven't done before. So we're giving that a shot. So please type in your questions as before. You have a little console there as an attendee, and so the questions come up. We'll be tracking those, and then coming up with a few more at the end of that period. And as I mentioned, there'll be a drawing for those of you that at the end or present at the end on a $100 gift card to be used towards conference expenses. So at this point, I'm going to turn the dialogue over to Roger, who's going to talk about a little more details about the conference and the session grid and all those things. Take it away, Roger.
Thank you, Mark. So we have been working very hard to plan this conference. We are very excited to hold this conference in Boca Raton, Florida, May 8th through the 10th. That's a Monday through a Wednesday. We're going to do something we've never done before, and that is we're going to offer a Plex and TUI bootcamp that runs in parallel with this conference. So that's a tremendous opportunity. It's included in the price of the conference. We have 4 tracks: Plex, TUI, technology, and Spanish only. We've got hands-on labs, general sessions, and then some deep dives. We're going to do another hybrid conference, so it's either in person or you can attend virtually. So right now we're under the super early bird pricing structure, and that ends January 31st. So that price is, if you attend in person, $399 a person. If you have a group of 4, you can do a buy 3 and get 1 free, and that's for $1,197. And if you choose to attend virtually, it's $99. So as I mentioned, it's 3 days of fun learning and team building. Monday is going to be the hands-on labs for Plex and TUI. technology. There's going to be training for security, DevOps, and much more. And then on Tuesday is when we start our general sessions. We have a variety of sessions I think you're going to be very excited about. If you'll go out and look at the Plex.com website, we've got the full session grid, and I'm sure you'll find that there is some serious value out there. So as I mentioned, 4 tracks, and then on Wednesday's a half day. We're going to do some deep dives into TUI modernization, as well as Plex modernization and some CL scripting modernization. So as I mentioned earlier, we're doing something we've never done before, and that is we're offering a boot camp for both TUI and Plex. This boot camp is included for free in the conference fees that you pay, and this is really a tremendous opportunity, not only for new users, but maybe a refresher for some of your existing users who maybe don't work with these tools very often, but would like just kind of a refresher course. Now, I know what you're asking yourself. You're saying, Roger, how can I possibly get involved in this conference to make it the greatest conference ever? And the answer to that is there's some special prizes that we offer to our beloved speakers. We treat all of our speakers like rock stars. They really are the elite in the Plex and TUI industry. At the end of the sessions on Tuesday, we're going to do a vote for both Plex and TUI to vote on the best session awards. So you see that picture on the right. I think that's probably from last year. Those are the awards that were presented to the winners. We're also doing a modernization roundtable, and we're looking for the industry experts. So if you have any experience at all in modernization, replatforming, anything along those lines, we would love to have you join us as part of this roundtable opportunity. So we have some really good opportunities in a couple of the sessions for you to do a lightning talk. So a lightning talk is basically a 10 to a 15-minute presentation on something just kind of small, and this is an area where you can get involved with a minimal amount of effort and really help us to make this conference great. So as I mentioned, we really do have some great speaking opportunities for you, and we really do need you guys to help us out by volunteering to do a lightning talk. On the Plex and TUI, there's a tips and techniques session, and really what we're looking for is there's just so many features out there with these products that are not necessarily documented, but things that people have learned how to do by working with these tools. And every year when we do a tips and techniques presentation, it almost always gets voted the best session, because this is where you learn to do things that you didn't know how to do before. And if you pick up just a few of these tips and techniques, it really can make the entire conference rewarding for you. There's also a show and tell session for both Plex and TUI, and this is where we would like the user community to kind of show us some creative things that you've done in your application, some things that kind of make your application unique, kind of a out of the box, above and beyond type experience there. And we would love to have you show some of these things that you've done in your applications to really take your applications to the highest level possible. I mentioned before, we're also having a modernization roundtable where we're looking for a panel of experts who have experience working with modernization, replatforming, just kind of anything along those lines there. So this is where you can help us out. So I would ask you to please reach out and let us know if you're interested in being a lightning talk speaker. As I mentioned, you will be treated like a rock star. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back over to Mark to do our second poll question.
The question is, are you interested in speaking at the conference? So you can say yes. Maybe you already are, have already registered with us. Thinking it over, but probably will. Thinking it over, maybe, or probably not. Well, let's see what results we've got here. So about half of you, a little over half are declining, but 16% are a yes, and 18% are a maybe. So we'll we'll be following up with people individually, and if you've got something, just send any information over to info@plex2e.com. That's a really good way to get basically communicate with people who are actively involved in the conference, and we'll, no matter what your question is, we'll figure out what that's going to be. Summer's going to talk about the venue itself. So Summer, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the location of this of our 13th conference?
Sure. Hi, everyone. As you know, that the conference is going to be taking place at Embassy Suites by Hilton Deerfield Resort and Spa. We have a special room rate for attendees, which is $199, which includes 2 rooms, 2 bathrooms. So if you and a coworker want to share, you'll still get it for $199, plus you'll still have space. Or if you want to bring a family member, that will be perfect as well. The URL for this is on the Plex2e website, or feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. They have a breakfast that's going to be included. Sunday through Wednesday, they have happy hour. Drinks and snacks will be included as well. And then Monday, we're going to have a happy hour event with all of the attendees overlooking the ocean. Tuesday, we have our surprise event for you guys, so come expecting. And with regards to transport, we don't have a shuttle service, but Ubers are available. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
And do people come in on Sunday night, Summer? Do we have something for them?
Just maybe a happy hour.
Okay, so you can just rendezvous people who are arriving on Sunday. And the hours for the happy hour are?
It's not confirmed as yet, but we'll come up with it pretty soon.
Okay, we'll notify people when we've got that. Now, this is my one of my favorite parts here is the sponsors, and we have I have it as sponsors this time. We still have a couple of people who are sitting on the fence, but Broadcom and A&I Solutions and CM First Group are we've been platinum sponsors before, and we continue to do that. Then we're all joined by Remain Software, and they're headquartered in Europe, but they've got a presence in North America, and their North American VP will be general manager will be at the conference. Actually lives not too far away from the conference location. And Sodiza is headquartered in Honduras, but they've got nearshore capabilities. They'll be running the Spanish track and sponsoring that, which they've done the last several conferences. And then Hawkbridge is located in Australia, and they've got some advanced, their principal, there's a lot of cutting edge stuff in Plex and 2E, and I'm sure they'll have some exciting things to show at the conference as well. And then the F1 raffle. This is a new thing that we're going to try. We haven't, so we're going to get a ticket for the Sunday Formula One race, which is down the street at the Hard Rock racetrack, and it's I think it's at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Every paid in-person ticket that has been, that's logged in here before March 15th has a chance. So if you know anything about winning the lottery, this one's a lot easier to win than some of the other lotteries that you see out there. So this is the second year that the Formula race is going to be in the Miami area, and it should just be an incredible time. Some other people have said they're going to go for it. So anyway, I encourage you to register for an in-person ticket, and you never know, you might be changing your plane reservations to come to the final. So, based on what you've seen and what you've heard, are you planning to attend the conference? So you've got some options here. Obviously, I'm going to attend in person. I'll attend virtually. I'm thinking it over, but I'm likely to attend, probable. Or I'm thinking it over, or no, maybe. Or I can't make it. May is crazy for me. So, well, May's an interesting time in Florida too. It used to really be a dead time because the snowbirds had already returned, but not so anymore. A lot more activity in May, as you'll see coming to the conference. This is the third or actually fourth conference that we've had that's been in South Florida area. But the first time we've had it at this location, at this venue in Deerfield Beach. Okay, so 30% attending in person, 14% virtually, 14 are probable, 21% maybe. Really hope that we can persuade you to come over. This is gonna be the only chance every 18 months that you get to meet, 100 customers just like you. Or 21% just can't make it, and May is crazy. So we get that, and again, we hope that some of you will attend virtually if you can't be there in person. So now we're going to move into the lightning talks, and our first one is going to be with about AppNeta, and I'm going to turn this over to JP Gallo, who's our sponsor representative, and then we'll have a live demonstration for you.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. JP Gallo. I'm with ANI Solutions. Attended the 12th developer conference in October of 2021. Happy to be a sponsor. ANI is happy to be a sponsor for the 13th developer conference coming up here in 2023, and we look forward to seeing everybody again. As part of that first polling question, with learning new concepts and technologies, on that note, we've seen a lot of interest from TUI and Plex customers around solutions that could help with their network and monitoring of applications and other use cases, such as work from home employees. So, there's a Broadcom tool called AppNeta that we resell with CM First. And we'd like to do a quick little lightning talk here with you today on that. And for that, I'll turn it over to our solutions architect, Cesare Kowalik. We'll take you through that AppNeta solution and give you some input on that solution. So, Cesare.
Thanks, JP. Hi, everyone. My name is Cesare, and I'm the resident AppNeta expert. I actually worked at the company for 10 years. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what the software is, what it does, what it doesn't do, and how it compares to other such products out on the market. So really quickly, what AppNeta is a network and a web application monitoring solution. It watches for performance, availability, authentication, all that fun stuff. And it does so from the perspective of end users, meaning it uses a combination of synthetics and active monitoring with passive for packet analysis underneath, so that when you pair it with products that watch your routers, switches, and other things, it can tell you the complete picture. AppNeta does generally bring value in 4 key areas, but it's used outside of these as well. The main 4 are driving transformation projects, things like WAN migrations, SD-WAN transitions, direct to internet breakouts, MPLS changes, anything where you need a before, during, after, anything where you need to confirm SLAs and make sure that the project went off without a hitch and that the provider really did what they said they were going to do. It's also great at delivering visibility for those that work remotely. AppNeta uses an extremely lightweight agent that can run on corporate laptops and provide full visibility of network and web application performance from those remote workers, so that you can quickly eliminate if it is in fact their ISP or anything else like that. Through this, it does make IT teams more efficient. That is because it allows them to stick to working on their projects instead of days troubleshooting and chasing down root causes. And It does this through the end user experience. So it is able to see things just the same way end users would and experiences the same issues, which really means that it is not subject to you having any special access into the networks or apps you want to monitor. If your users or employees are supposed to be able to access them, Apneta can monitor them. No need for instrumentation, no need for any kind of special access. It's vendor and provider agnostic. And those 4 methods I mentioned, JP, on the next slide, these 4 methods that allow this kind of monitoring, 2 are the active monitoring I spoke of, the layer 3, layer 4 network visibility. This will tell you how jitter, loss, latency, round trip time is doing on certain links. It will even tell you capacity, which is far more detailed than just bandwidth. It'll tell you how much is still available, how much is being utilized. All of this with about 2 kilobits per second, extremely lightweight. There's no flooding. And it will do layer 7 synthetics. Runs a full Chrome-based browser, uses Selenium to step through the steps, so you can have a full workflow just like your end users do. You log in, you click on links, you type things into text boxes. It'll measure the speed of everything and tell you if a CDN is causing slowdowns or if authentication is broken. You can use this for internal sites. You can monitor anything you pay to use. You can monitor public websites. It works just the same. And then this is paired with passive monitoring, where it ingests a span or mirror of traffic. Inline is possible, but of course not recommended in these days. And it will perform a 24/7 analysis of what's on there. It will put together a picture for you of about 2,000 apps it knows about out of the box and more that you can tell it about. It'll do a breakdown of here's where your QoS split is going, here's where how much recreational traffic you have, things like that. But with that, it allows you, since it has access to the packets, to just do remote packet captures. Those can be scheduled, those can be manual. It really helps prevent truck rolls and just being able to get that low level troubleshooting if it's ever necessary without having to do anything special. Now, with those items, I did want to quickly kind of summarize what it does and doesn't do. So Apneta is a synthetic monitoring tool that looks just like one more user on a network. The idea is it will be able to tell you about network performance, which is kind of your highway pavement. It'll be able to tell you about application performance, and it will be able to tell you what's happening to the traffic that's already on there. With this, it's used in a fashion to eliminate as much what's innocent as possible out of the troubleshooting workflow, which usually means that after eliminating a couple of barns and a couple of haystacks, what's left will take 5 minutes to check. And it allows you to really quickly cross-reference multiple locations, multiple apps to find out, yep, it's definitely an East Coast problem only with Verizon, or it's actually only Office 365, but funnily enough, Teams and others that are Azure-based keep on working. So they must be having some app-specific issue because I can see all our users can still access everything else in Azure. And with this, it really saves the IT teams a lot of time. The deployment is also extremely simple. Over the next 2 slides, we've got some of the deployment methods that are used. This is centralized, so there is no server to set up. There's no need to do any special installation. The server is cloud-based. It can be private and on-prem if you'd like. That option does exist. But the real work is done by these monitoring points, which are placed throughout your network. They can be placed on the same subnets as your users, and each can, of course, support trunk ports, meaning it could be placed on dozens or hundreds of separate subnets, VLANs, whatever it is you want, as long as you can give it access physically, wirelessly, or virtually. It can do the work of what otherwise would be many, many, many monitoring points. These are some of the flavors that exist, basically 1 gig, 10 gig, 100 gig, and everything in between. And there are also non-physical options on the next slide, which help really ease the deployment that's out there. So workstation deployments means anybody with a Windows or Mac OS laptop can do it. They literally take 10 megabytes of hard drive space and something like 0.1% of a single CPU core. Absolutely non-impactful. They can be deployed in container environments, Azure, AWS, right onto Cisco switches, anything that can handle containers like Docker. And there's virtual machine options as well for those that already have such farms and prefer that method, whether it's KVM or VMware, bare metal or managed, those options exist. all of these will do the same job. It's just how you choose to deploy, what is your preferred method, and then after that, in product, they all do the same kind of monitoring, they all provide the same kind of visibility. Now, with that said, quick summary of everything on the next slide. The idea is that Apneta will provide value in quite a few areas, which may not all apply to your situation, but odds are at least one does. And some of the major solution offers that do exist here as well is that capacity measurement that I mentioned, where you're able to see actual leftover bandwidth on the link, how much is being utilized, cross traffic affecting the performance of network equipment, and the ability to get down to the individual hop that may be the bottleneck. With that wide deployment options, you also have the ability to deploy pretty much anywhere. There is a year's worth of retention, and the whole thing can be turned into a proactive monitoring solution. You give it some thresholds and it will catch issues for you and notify your team without anyone having to check on it. Of course, there are reports and other things that can be generated for management so that they can see how their apps are doing. But the critical differentiators between this and most of the tools out there is the granularity is unmatched. We're talking 1 minute granularity, sometimes as often as 10 seconds apart. With a year's worth of history, that's a lot. The ability to deploy anywhere and monitor anything. You don't have to own it or have special access to it. Being part of Broadcom, this is a trusted solution. It is not going anywhere. It is highly secure. And by being able to combine monitoring of your corporate environments and work from home environments on consumer grade internet connections, you just have total visibility, allowing your IT teams to troubleshoot anything without saying, well, that's outside of what I can see with our tools. That is Apneta in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you.
And I have some extra slides on the detailed pieces, but I don't think we have time today. If anybody has any questions, please follow up through the regular channels, and we'll be glad to set up some additional info for you.
Great. Thank you, Cesare. Great presentation. Again, people, I'm sure that there should be some questions about this. We've demoed this to a couple of current customers in the community already. Got a really positive reaction to it. So use this opportunity. If you've got any questions about this presentation, please do so. Now we're gonna, before we do our second lightning talk, I've got another poll question coming up, which basically is what networking monitoring and application monitoring is your interest level. So do you have a solution in place already? Are you looking at solutions or at the thinking over station in that period of your thinking process, or all of your apps just all lightning fast and you have no need for a solution like this? Let's see what we get for results. So about half of the respondents are saying that they want to think it over. Probably haven't thought, haven't done much thinking about application monitoring, or maybe it was something that was done a long time ago. Remember having a network sniffer, many years back. And then about a third already have a solution in place. So it'd be interesting to know what kind of solution that you have. And then some people felt that they didn't have a need for application monitoring because their applications were already lightning fast. So now on to lightning talk number 2, and about modernizing CA2E reporting. And there's going to be introduction by John Rhodes, and then Kiyoshi Terasawa will be doing the presentation.
All right, thanks, Mark. Okay, so today we want to talk a little bit about modernizing CA2E reports, sign-on reports, so green screen reports, and using an automated process. So I'm going to just give a brief introduction, then Kiyoshi's going to go into the technical details and show a demo of how these reports can be managed. So here's the concept. So we've had a process to modernize CA2E to CA Plex and generate Java. So essentially transforming RPG and COBOL applications into Java. That's been in place quite a while. However, we always left reports out of the equation because of some of the complexities that sign-on and CA2E has about reporting. It's certainly a unique reporting engine. CA Plex doesn't have great reporting, but people really needed to sometimes, some cases, modernize thousands of reports. A lot of times these reports also contain extensive business logic, calculations, summarizations, as well as even I/O. So, creating summary files, creating log files. So application logic was embedded in the reports themselves. So they can be highly complex. So now we have a solution for that, though, to automatically modernize or migrate that CA2E action diagram code around the print file and print object into CA Plex, and allow you to generate Java and JavaScript and have a very modern reporting engine put in place. So we're going to show a solution. This is maybe one option of many, but it's a good solution called JS Reports that is a modern JavaScript-based report with a browser-based report designer and a lot of expected features around BI, like, for example, you can schedule, you can give permissions, you can import and export reports, sub-reports, things of that nature. So really a modern reporting BI package. Okay, it does have a REST API kind of built in. And so there's the introduction, and I'm pretty excited about it. And Kiyoshi, can you show us the details?
Yep, thank you, John. So first, what are we trying to aim to do, or we need to do? So, well, like John mentioned, there's a big gap on between the CA2E to CA Plex conversion product. OM3 doesn't support report. There's two main reasons. Obviously, as most of Plex users knows, Plex Java or .NET doesn't offer any report out of box. So in theory, there's no receiver side of platform environment available on the Plex side. And we use print file and print object functionality, but nothing to be received. So we just calling a pre-existing to generated or maybe handwritten report from the Plex migrated Java. So this is new option for right now for the the M3 environment only, but this concept could be expanded for the native DDS, convert to the report. So keep in tune. We have opportunity to migrate more like a native world or just a report. Okay, well, what's required to move? This is obvious for those RPG IBMI people. So, print file, DDS, report design. So it's typically 2E generate that as part of a function generation. Business logic. So as John mentioned, most cases I've seen in the past, I've done myself, you put some extra logic into the print file or print object. Well, some simple example is maybe update the status. Okay, this report is printed. So you update the flag of the something of the like a transaction header record. Or maybe as part of, because the report is typically does summarize or counting, or those number is calculated as part of the report. So sometimes you update those numbers to the database. So that kind of logic is important to keep. So therefore we convert, we need to consider that. And also overlay. So of course the character-based report has lots of limitation, and therefore there's a technology called overlay, which you can put the image or you can put the frame or something like between the DDS, generate report on the spool file, but before passing to the printer, you do some formatting. So that kind of thing. So, well, database, it's optional. If you stay on the DB2400, that's fine. But you know, if you want to migrate, yeah, there's an option to move out from the IBMI platform. So what we do is, so DDS become template, which is JS report engine use. So HTML, JavaScript, CSS base. So it's now here, this is pure, let's say, you know, HTML file is generated. I mean, this report provides some editing platform, and so that's that you could hand over for like any typical the HTML designer, website designer to customize that. And the business logic is kept as to Plex. I mean, Plex function action diagram. Overlay is, yeah, HTML can do lots of things. So it's now part of template, not the two separate things. Well, database is optional. Probably it's a decision already made if when you convert to the M3, but there's option to connect to the other platform database, like a DB2, SQL Server on the Windows or maybe Oracle, but that's optional. So if you do that, I think there's an opportunity to take off the completely from the IBMI. So quick demo, so we don't have time. So I just focus today to the template and the customization area. But we have a session in the conference in May about this feature more deeply. So stay tuned. Okay, so what's the output for a conversion or transform, we could say? So we generate these 6 files on the left hand. So have one default control, JSON. So this file is used just a bridge between the function and the report engine, and sample text, which is just to show the TUI layout looks like. And yeah, the data for template, I mean, a sample data for report and the template for PDF and Excel. So we support PDF and Excel for every single report with certain limitation for the Excel, but the PDF is pretty much same. So I do quick demo. So this is the canvas the DS report provide, a kind of work area. This is the built-in CSS and the JavaScript we provide as part of this product. And then we generate the template. So this is very pure HTML, and with the referencing the CSS that defined there, and the JavaScript also referenced. And these double curly bracket is just the syntax the JS report required. So within this double curly bracket, this is everything read by a JS report runtime, and then like swap by variable, some syntax of this one's a loop statement and if condition, but these are data, and you could code something as part of that. Then we have data, test data. So this is based on the TUI length and the type. So we just generate the maximum length and some sample data time portion with it. With that, out of box, you can do just generate PDF. So this is Canvas. So you can just quick and try, and using these 2 pair of file and help with the JavaScript and the CSS. So you can generate report. So same for Excel. So you could do the Excel report. So this is Excel generated. looks like. Okay, now we have a customized version of template for this PDF. So this is the one we have. I just customized. As you see, there's a bitmap, and then font size is little adjusted. Record area has surrounded by table in frame, and then there's a even line has a little shady background. But this is just a limited thing. I mean, this is what I've done quickly, but you can use different color, you can do the different font, you can lay out a much, completely, different way, etc. So it's up to you how much you do effort. If you want to keep the report design same as 2E, that's option, but you could very improve the report design by doing that. Okay. And then I think that's almost a minute. So yeah, so like I said, this is just a very short introduction, and we have a session in the conference. So see you then there. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. Look forward to seeing you and all the other speakers at the conference as well, Kiyoshi. We now have an additional poll question based on that. Which reporting tools are you using? So using CA2E itself, or perhaps another third-party green screen tool, Crystal Reports, or a web-based reporting package, or other. And multiple answers are possible with this question. Okay, let's see what's on the mind of our audience. So half of you are using 2E itself. Quite a few Crystal Reports, 42%, and then almost the same amount are using something else. And then other green screen and web-based are further down the list. So that concludes the second lightning talk, and now let's go into question and answer session. So Cesare, one question I see coming up here is we have multiple locations, and some have Wi-Fi and some don't, and so how would AppNeta work out in a situation like that?
Yeah, thanks for that, Mark. The way AppNeta works is for each physical location that you'd like to monitor from a device, whether virtual or physical, would be placed. That will then have multitudes of physical interfaces that can be split into VLANs and others. Of course, they also have Wi-Fi antennas. One of the most popular models that runs at 1 gig for remote offices has 4 Wi-Fi network capabilities at the same time. It can hop onto a corporate network, guest network, lab network, and then on top of that Wi-Fi, do all the wired networks. And then in the monitoring, you can explicitly pick the same targets across all of those interfaces. And then when you have an issue, it shows that all the Wi-Fi networks are having a problem, but the wired ones to the exact same target are clean, or vice versa, or some other way of quickly isolating what the issue is. So in a case where you have multiple locations, you choose hardware that fits the best for those locations and gives you the capability, whether that's purely software for the remote workers or physical hardware for the offices themselves. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, great. Another one asking a little more information about the JS script and using that as a reporting tool. So John Kiyoshi, can you elaborate on that?
So the question is JS script as a reporting package?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we provide the default JavaScript along with this package, but you have freedom to add or modify another method, another JavaScript method. So you could do some other fancy thing by yourself or by us. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, there's a number of conference questions. I'm going to read them off to you.
Yeah, please do so.
Hey, first, for the boot camp, are you offering it online?
So the boot camp is for people who are attending on site only.
Got that a couple of times, so I guess, yep, that's right. Okay, thank you.
It's just difficult when we do remote training. We used to just do in classroom training all 100% of the time, and with the remote training, it's more complicated. We can't do as many people, and it's frankly, it's really hard for the instructor to have to go back and forth to the far side on the screens remotely. So we thought, and it'd be most productive to have it in person. We can accommodate more students, and it just goes faster because you can work with a partner, somebody who's near you, and help you through some of the situations, but you wouldn't get if you were remote.
Okay, next question. Is it too late to be a speaker?
It's never too late to be a speaker. No, we will gladly accept any offers to do a presentation. And like I mentioned, really it's the lightning talks that we're focused on. We have both for Plex and TUI, each of them have 2 opportunities, both for the tips and techniques as well as the show and tell. So yeah, if you're interested in doing either the Plex or TUI for any of those sessions, or to be a panelist on the modernization roundtable, please reach out to us and we will be getting back to you.
Great follow-up question here. Who do we contact about possible presentations at the conference?
So if you go to the plextui.com website, you get a link there, or you can just send an email to info@plextui.com, and I can assure you, you will be hearing back from us.
Okay. Next one from Mark. What's a snowbird, Mark?
A snowbird. A snowbird is someone who moves to the Sun Belt, likely Florida, during when it's winter in the Northern Hemisphere. And then by the time that spring has come and the snow has stopped in the northern climes, they return to their northern home for the summer. So they avoid the hot, humid Florida, inevitable Florida summer.
Okay, next question. Complicated here, I guess for Kiyoshi. Does the Plex report function that is created from the TUI function have special code interact with the JS script? I don't use TUI, but I'm wondering about using it directly from Plex.
Okay. I think, yeah, that option we haven't considered yet, but surely we could consider if there's a requirement, you guys demand, yeah, we surely consider that, because there's one other aspect, just a converter. Let's say, I think the questioning probably doesn't have TUI at all, probably just have Plex, I believe. So then I think, yeah, the answer is not impossible, but we're not implementing that way. That's maybe the answer. But it is be the open opportunity for that.
Looks like an AppNeta question. Do you offer a free trial of your products?
Yes, we do POCs. We'll deploy into your environment, and we will help you get value out of it really quickly, show you the results on your actual network, on your actual data. Just reach out and we'll set one up.
All right, super. I think that's the last one I see here in the question app. If anyone has a question, please type it in.
I think it's time to do our raffle, John.
I think it is. So you want to do a drawing, Summer? Can you tell me the number?
Sure. So the lucky number is 37.
Okay. Looking for attendee number 37. Looks like that's Rich Eveland. Right.
Rich Eveland?
E-V-E-L-A-N-D.
But he's jumping up and down, I can tell. There's a seismic shift in Boise, Idaho right now, where Rich is located.
Super.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Rich. We'll be following up with you. And of course, if you want to, to register and to get more information about the conference, come to the site. You can see stuff on there. If you want speaker ideas, we have some suggestions. You can also look at when you're on the conference site, you can look at previous conferences and look at some of the topics that were done too. So there might be an idea there that was done a few years ago and you want to refresh that, or get some new information, additional information for that. And we got 2 deadlines coming up. Early bird pricing will expire after January 31st. So as of February 1st, prices will be different. And then the F1 raffle will go between now and March 15th. And so by the end of March 15th, everybody who is registered in person will be thrown into a lottery to get that Sunday ticket. So I want to thank our panelists and our lightning talk speakers, as well as Roger and Summer. I think that is it. And basically have a great day and middle of the week here. And I hope that if you're a snowbird that you're able to get away from the snow at some point during the winter. If not, then throw another log on the fire, and we will be back, and we'll see you probably about every 4 to 5 weeks between now and the conference. We'll be having another webcast where we'll be focused on speaker and content that you'll get as a result of coming to the conference. So everybody have a great day and a great week, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webcast. Thanks.